The first thing I noticed wasn't the fear. It was the silence. The kind of silence that presses against your ears so hard you start to wonder if the world has stopped breathing with you. I stood frozen in my apartment doorway, my key still in my hand, knowing deep down that something inside me had been broken in a way I would never fully explain. I used to believe bad things happened to other people, to faces on the news, to strangers with tragic headlines, not to women like me, not to someone who had a routine, a partner, a life carefully built around trust. That belief died the night I met him. It didn't happen in a dark alley or some distant place people warn you about. It happened after a normal evening, groceries in my bag, a tired smile on my face, a thought about what to cook for dinner. And then everything changed. I won't describe what he did. I don't need to. What matters is what came after. I walked home in a daze, my body moving while my mind stayed behind somewhere else. I scrubbed my skin in the shower until it burned, as if water could erase memory, as if silence could protect me. I didn't tell anyone, not that night, not the next day, especially not my husband, Mark. Mark and I had been married for 6 years. He was steady, kind, the kind of man people described as safe. When he hugged me, I usually felt grounded. That night, when he wrapped his arms around me, I felt trapped inside my own body. "Are you okay?" he asked. I nodded, because nodding was easier than breaking. The days that followed blurred together. I went to work, I laughed when I was supposed to, I answered messages, but inside, something was screaming constantly. Every sound made me jump, every stranger felt dangerous. At night, I stopped sleeping. When I did, nightmares dragged me back to that moment, not the act itself, but the fear, the helplessness, the feeling of being unseen. Mark noticed the distance. He tried harder, made dinner, left notes, held my hand longer. I watched him from across the table and wondered how I could love someone so deeply and still feel so alone. The guilt ate at me. I started blaming myself for walking alone, for trusting the world, for not fighting harder, for surviving. One evening, Mark finally said the words I'd been dreading. "You're here," he said quietly, "but you're not really here with me." Something in his voice cracked. That was when I told him. Not everything, just enough. I told him someone hurt me. I told him I was scared. I told him I didn't know how to be normal again. I expected anger, rage, tears. What I didn't expect was confusion. "Why didn't you tell me right away?" he asked. "I didn't know how," I whispered. He nodded, but something shifted between us. I could feel it. The space grew, invisible but heavy. He started sleeping closer to the edge of the bed. His questions became careful, his touch hesitant. And then came the worst part. One night, during an argument that started for nothing, he said it. I don't understand how it happened." Those words cut deeper than any scream. I realized then that trauma doesn't just change the person it happens to, it changes everyone around them. Some people lean in, others pull away. Mark didn't mean to hurt me, but his doubt felt like betrayal, like I was on trial in my own marriage. I spiraled. Therapy helped slowly, so did writing. Putting words to pain gave it shape, gave me control. But the marriage kept cracking. Intimacy became a battlefield of fear and guilt. I felt broken. He felt helpless. Love alone wasn't enough anymore. One night, months later, I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. Her eyes were tired, but there was something else there too. Strength. I realized I had survived something unimaginable, and I was allowed to choose myself. We separated quietly. No screaming, no villains, just two people who couldn't find their way back to the life they had before. Healing didn't mean forgetting, it meant reclaiming my voice. Today, I walk differently, I speak differently. I no longer confuse silence with strength. What happened to me was not my fault, and surviving it is not my shame. If you're listening to this and carrying a secret like mine, you are not weak, you are not broken, and you are not alone. Sometimes the most dramatic love story isn't about romance. It's about learning how to love yourself again after the world tried to take that away.